Okay, we continue our visit now with Mel Brooks. Now, everybody knows Mel Brooks, the funny man. What's not as widely known, however, is that Mel's company, Brooks Films, has been behind the production of some acclaimed dramas, like The Elephant Man, 84 Charing Cross Road, and Francis. Another movie that came out of Brooks' production company was My Favorite Year, the very popular film of some years ago that loosely told the behind-the-scenes story of the early television comedy program, a landmark show called Your Show of Shows, starring Sid Caesar. Now, young Mel Brooks was a writer on that show, and he was also a close friend of Caesar's. He bears witness that Sid was even wilder off camera than on. Here's one example.
Sid was driving a rented Cadillac, a 41. Everybody was driving 55 or 50. When was it? 1950 or 51. He rented a 40. He liked the 41 Caddy because it was like a tank. So he drove around in this 41 Cadillac. He loved it. He made a few turns. He cut off a cab driver, right? Cab driver cuts him off and screams at him. "You stupid son of a..." yelling. Sid says, "All right, I'm sorry." "I'm sorry, don't be sorry, don't be sorry, because of you." Sid gets out of the car. I said, "Sid," I follow him out of the car. Guy's wearing a yellow cab, a yellow hat with a black visor, a black leather bow tie and a shirt, and he's yelling up. In those days, they had a little clipper window on these DeSotos. You know, they this window to let the air, the vent window. And Sid looked down at him and said, I'm not mad. I just have to ask you a question." The guy looked at him and he said, "Do you remember being born? Do you remember your birth?" The cab driver said, "No, I don't." He said, "Well, we're going to recreate it right now." And he grabbed his leather bow tie, and the hat went off, and he was pulling him through the clipper window, that little window. And the guy, and I bit his hand. That's the only way he would let this guy. He was very strong. He would have pulled the whole man through that little window. That man was coming through. I knew it. I knew that would have been a cartoon person after Sid got through it. And then there would be no show of shows, and I'd be out of a job. So I had to stop him, you know.
Preposterous! Simply preposterous! Order 9 sandwiches and you only get 8. Let's continue with the meeting, shall we?
Once again, gentlemen, let me say that I am not unprepared at this juncture. Now, gentlemen, my staff of 5 years is gathered in the account of the very national idea, and I say that we must quit.
Okay, from the television comedy classic Your Show of Shows to a film comedy classic. Mel